You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com.
All right, this is the bonus Easter egg here at the end of the We Are Libertarians episode 6. We're going to turn off the mics for Dakota and Tanner. No, you're on. Okay. So you tell me your story with your dad.
Okay, so this is just an example of how well the free market works. My dad and his coworker, my dad's a school teacher in Rushville, and his coworker and him had been, on odd years they would go to Washington, D.C., and on even years they would go to New York City. And they would go to a Mets game, the Broadway plays, and all that stuff. And they would have a hotel in Times Square.
Stuff dudes
do. They've been doing this since 2000. They trademarked the name The Big Apple Adventure. And about 6...
They trademarked it. They had paperwork.
Yes. About 6 years ago, the guy that he was working with... they agreed to lower the price so more kids could go. Well, the guy turned around and raised the prices behind my dad's back and said that's what the trip costs. And then goes to Jamaica on my dad's money. So this year, last year, the guy asked my dad if he wanted to go to Washington, D.C., and Dad said no. And he asked him if he wanted to go to New York next year, and Dad said maybe. Well, the other day, my dad goes into work, and there are red flyers all over the school saying the Big Apple Adventure was going to New York, and that was the first my dad had heard about it. My dad got to reading the flyers because the guy came in and gave him some flyers to pass out to the kids, and the trip was going to cost nearly $2,000 to go to, and so my dad called the same company that guy used for his, and they gave my dad the estimate of it would be about $800 per kid. So therefore, that guy was stealing $1,200 per kid, up to 50 kids.
We call it a markup.
Well, it was stealing. So my dad decides to make a free market solution to people who aren't as fortunate. So Dad decides to charge $820 per person. He hasn't told the guy yet. So, and this is in Rush County. So basically every kid is going to be paying $820 to go with my dad, or they can pay $19.95 and go with the other guy. So there's a little bit of competition going in the Rushville Middle School over who is going to be taking people. But $2,000 is absolutely outrageous for a trip to New York, and they're going to be going to the same places at the same time, except the only difference is the other guy's trip is going to cost nearly $1,200 more. So that just goes to show how good the free market is, because my dad saw the problem, which was the guy was more or less robbing the kids blind to their money to keep a $40,000 profit. Dad's going to end up making about $20 per kid, which is understandable. $20 per kid is very understandable. So that's just a solution where most kids, I feel like, are going to be would be much more inclined to pay $820 compared to $19.95 to go to New York, the same trip, the same everything at the same time, rather than going and paying almost $2,000. So that was just a little free market story that I thought I would share.
All right. Well, very, very cool. Bones, I know you're listening out there. I wanted a full investigation on the ground in Rushville. I want to know the real story. And I want names. Very good.
Kent Wise was the teacher. I'll go ahead and call him.
And round it out.
Look out, Kent. The Perdews are coming after you.
Find him on Facebook and just let them know it's not cool to take Jamaican trips on kids' dollars.
And it's not cool to steal from kids either, even if you're going to New York.
Unless you're also a kid. Then
Even
it's cool.
Even if you're going to New York.
It's still not cool to steal from kids.
His Christmas isn't going to be the Christmas he was expecting it to be. I'll just put it that way.
Stealing's bad.
Mic dropped.
All right. That's your little Easter egg here at the back end of the Boss Hog Liberty podcast. We'll see y'all next time.